Hello there, Taurus. Thank you so much for stopping by for your weekly tarot forecast for the week of February 29th through March 6th. On Monday, what we have coming up for you is we have the Star card. And the Star card is just telling me that on Monday you're feeling very clear about what you want to get accomplished, what you want to get taken care of, about situations that you want to be in, about goals that you have, targets that you have. And so when you're feeling that clear about what you want to get done, it makes decision making very easy for you. It's kind of like you have this mission statement that you're very clear on. And so whenever somebody says, do you want to go over here and do this? You can just kind of click through and add up, okay, well, does that match my mission statement? Is that going to further my mission, or is that something that's going to drag me backwards? And if it's something that's going to drag you backwards, that makes that decision really easy. Nope, that's not what I want. I don't want to do that. If it's something that's going to pull you forward, once again, decision's very easy. Yeah, that'll be something where I can gain a skill, or where I can meet other people who have similar goals, or, you know, whatever it is that's going to be helpful or beneficial towards you. So when I see the Star card, what I like to say is it makes decision making very easy, just because you're very much in touch with your own reality and your own goals and dreams and targets. Now, on Tuesday, Taurus, what you have coming up is the Fool in reverse. And the Fool in reverse is telling me that there's a situation that you're handling in a very logical, careful way on Tuesday. I feel like you're thinking this through a little bit more than you would think through most of your situations, and you're just trying to make sure that you handle this the best way possible. For a lot of you, this feels like some kind of situation with work or with school, something that is going to impact, you know, your future. For some of you, this does feel like more of a relationship-oriented type question about, you know, what's the best way to handle this situation as it's coming up in this relationship. But whatever it is that you're working with, this is something that you're just being more logical than you usually do. You're being more careful to make the best possible decision here than normal. And I'm not saying that normally you're just reckless with your decisions. I'm just saying that whatever level you normally take of care with your decisions, this is stepped up. This is amped up. Now, moving on to Wednesday, Taurus, what you have showing up here is the Eight of Swords in reverse. Eight of Swords in reverse is just telling me that on Wednesday you're feeling a little stuck, and part of the reason you're feeling stuck really has a lot to do with your own perspective, that you're actually limiting yourself with your own thought patterns. So when I see this card for myself, what I like to do is when I recognize that thing that has me feeling stuck that day, I like to think about, well, what if I told my neighbor about this situation? What would that person have to say? You know, a complete outsider that doesn't know really anything. They're not involved in the situation. What would their response be? And try to look at it from an outsider's perspective. If you can look at it from an outsider's perspective, it makes it much more easy for you to figure out where you're limiting yourself, and then to figure out how or if you want to take those limits off so that you can move forward and get out of this stuck spot on Wednesday. Now, Thursday we have another Swords card for you guys. And this is coming up as the Ten of Swords. The Ten of Swords just tells me the word I'm actually hearing for you guys today is debate. So I'm feeling like there's a lot of debate going on. I feel like you've got an idea that you're presenting maybe to somebody at work, maybe to people in the family, or maybe even to your friends about something that you guys can do or that you can participate in. And you're getting a lot of resistance on this idea. That's all this card really means, is that there's a lot of resistance. This is the way this card is. If you look at the picture in this deck, the way this card is, there's a sword that this guy kind of maybe was holding on to, and he's kind of let go of it. And there are all these other swords, and these other swords are coming at him towards his front. So it's not like he's being stabbed in the back. To me, this card just talks about people really talking to you about this resistance that they have to your idea. And when you have that sword that's laid down next to you, what that's telling me is that you're listening, you're receptive to hearing what they have to say. And I'm getting the feeling that for a lot of you, you're receptive to hearing what they have to say, because you know that if you listen to their objections, then it's not so hard for you to figure out, okay, well, what is it about this situation that they're going to appreciate, that they're going to like, that's going to help me overcome those objections to talk them into doing this thing that really is a fantastic idea. Um, so really, I see you being the ultimate in salesman like this, and I don't mean that as a slur, I mean that as a compliment, because a really good salesman is somebody who can listen to what's going on with the client or the customer and figure out how to actually really help them with their products. So I feel like you're being like the ultimate salesman. You're really paying attention to what's going on with these other people so that you can show them how this idea that you have is going to be helpful to them if they allow it to. So actually not a bad card, just telling me, you know, this is a situation that you're going to be dealing with. More of a neutral card in this case for you guys, Taurus. Now, on Friday, what we have coming up is the Eight of Coins. I gotta tell you, I feel like for some of you that had this Ten of Swords situation on Thursday that you dealt with, where you had to overcome people's objections about an idea that you have, when this Eight of Coins comes up, I feel like maybe what you were doing for some of you was bidding for a contract, and you've got that contract and you're at work, wham, bam, the next day. Get in there and get that job done. So for some of you, that's what actually happened. Those two are actually tied together. Not for all of you, but for a good number, a good handful of you for sure. Now, Friday, when we see the Eight of Coins, what this means in general is just that you're working. Now, work is funny for me, and I'll tell you why. Work can be one of two things. Work can be that way that you make a living, but for me, work can also be those things that we do to improve our own personal characters, our own selves. So work for me could actually be meditation, especially if there's a specific goal for that meditation. If I'm doing a meditation that's to help me with some certain issue, that is something that I would consider work. It's personal work. But so we've also got, you know, work where you go and work for somebody, and we've also got work that is the work of running a household, you know, of painting and of making sure the bills are paid and that kind of stuff. So Friday, there's something coming up as far as work for you, Tauruses, and I feel like for a lot of you, this is actually physical labor that you're doing around the house that's showing up for me on Friday. So maybe Friday you get home from paying work and you have a chance to, maybe you're gonna start redoing one of your floors over the weekend, and you just start getting into that on Friday evening after you get home from work. Could be really anything, but just talking about working. And to me, when this card comes up, especially on a weekday where people usually are scheduled to work anyway, this is really talking about doing some of that inner work, some of that self-work, or working in a more physical type of way than what you are used to doing. Okay? So anyway, that's Friday. Moving on to Saturday. Saturday, we have the King of Swords showing up. This is somebody that you're dealing with on Saturday. The King of Swords is somebody who's really good at taking care of business. This person can think things through very logically, doesn't usually make decisions based on emotion at all. In fact, typically suppresses emotion. This is someone, if you want advice about getting into business, or if you want advice about anything related to business, this is someone who can probably help you. Now, if you want relationship advice, or if you're having feelings you don't know how to deal with, this guy can't help you. Don't bother, because basically he has no time for that. He doesn't see the value in emotions. These types of people are the type of people that whenever somebody asks me to read them in a love reading and they want to know, well, how does this person feel about me? No feeling cards come up, because they don't pay attention to their emotions. What comes up is what they think about when they think about the relationship. So this is how they operate. They just don't operate out of that heart chakra very much at all. In fact, it's pretty much blocked. So thought is the most important thing to them. Logic is the most important thing to them. So if you need advice on anything that is run or ruled by logic, or where logic is the strong point, this is the guy to go to. And he's coming into your life on Saturday. I don't know that you're necessarily getting advice from him on Saturday, but I think that by your interaction with him, you are going to pick up some interesting ideas and some good ideas that you can put to work in little ways in your life that I think you're going to find beneficial for yourself. So this is going to be interesting. And for some of you Tauruses, this person does seem like a family member. He feels more like a contemporary for a lot of you. So for a lot of you, this is going to be like a brother or a cousin, that's somebody that's really more in your generation. This doesn't, a lot of times I have a king come in and this feels like a father figure. This doesn't feel so much like a father figure for most of you Tauruses. Now for some of you maybe, but most of you, like I said, this guy, he feels like he's closer to your age than from another generation. And for a few of you, maybe even younger than you. Now, on Sunday, what we have coming up for you guys is we have the Moon card. And the Moon card is just telling me that there are some things going on in your life that or there's at least one situation that you're looking at this, and as somebody's talking, you're kind of thinking, wait a second, that doesn't make sense. You just said such and such, and how can that be true if this is true? That type of thing. So there's just a situation in your life where it's fishy. Something is stinking, and you're having a hard time figuring out exactly what it is and putting your fingers on what is the real truth here, but you do know that something is off. So that's what I see coming up for you guys on Sunday. Not really a bad week at all, guys. Anyway, I appreciate you guys stopping by, hanging out, liking, sharing, subscribing, all your wonderful comments. I do appreciate all the support I get from you. Everyone have a fantastic, fantastic week. I'll see you back here the next time. Peace out.